The arena of Viktha was silent for the first time in 300 cycles. Kathy stood in the center of the fighting circle, her breathing steady despite the purple dust coating her boots. Around her, thousands of alien spectators leaned forward in their hovering observation pods, their multiple eyes fixed on the human female, who had just done the impossible. The Crowvar warrior, all 7 feet and 400 pounds of chitinous muscle, sprawled outside the sacred circle, his mandibles clicking in confusion. "Did you see that?" Isaac's voice crackled through Kathy's earpiece from the human observation deck. The telemetry went crazy. "Kathy, your adrenaline spike was later, Isaac," Kathy muttered, rolling her shoulders. "I've got 6 more rounds." The Crowvar were the reigning champions of the galactic combat trials, undefeated for 2 centuries. They were built like living tanks, with exoskeletons that could deflect plasma bolts and strength that could bend starship hull plating. When humanity had been invited to participate in the trials more as a courtesy to a newly spacefaring species than any expectation of competition, the galaxy had prepared for a brief, brutal demonstration of human fragility. They hadn't prepared for Earth's gravity. Kathy had grown up in snow polo, where she'd practiced Brazilian jiu-jitsu since she was 6 years old. Later, she'd joined the Coalition Marines, where Earth's 1G had molded her muscles and bones into something the rest of the galaxy couldn't comprehend. Most spacefaring species had evolved on worlds with 0.6 to 0.8 Earth gravity. Their bodies were adapted for efficiency in gentler environments. Humans were adapted for survival on a world that was actively trying to kill them. The Crowvar warrior rose slowly, his pride more damaged than his body. He chittered something in his native language that the translator rendered as a demand for a rematch. The arena master, a floating jellyfish like being called a pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. "The human female has won by ring-out," the quarrel announced, its voice resonating through psychic amplifiers. According to ancient law, the Crowvar may not challenge the same opponent twice in one cycle. The crowd erupted, half in outrage, half in astonishment. Isaac's voice returned to her ear, calmer now. "You're making history, Kath. Every news feed in the galaxy is broadcasting this. Earth's stock market just jumped 15%. "Great," Kathy said, accepting a towel from a nervous Pytharan attendant, a small, furry being who looked at her with equal parts fear and admiration. "Tell them not to bet the farm yet. I've still got the Vrexian Blade Masters, the Thorian Crushers, and whatever else they throw at me." What the galaxy didn't understand, what they couldn't understand, was that humans had spent millions of years as persistence hunters. They'd chased prey across savannas until it collapsed from exhaustion. They'd survived ice ages, predators, disease, and each other. Every human carried in their DNA the legacy of ancestors who had refused to quit, refused to die, refused to accept defeat. Kathy's next opponent entered the circle with more caution. The Vrexian moved like liquid mercury, its 4 arms each holding a different energy blade. It was faster than anything Kathy had faced in training. But fast didn't mean much when you'd trained against opponents who'd spent their whole lives in Earth gravity. The Vrexian struck first, a blur of silver limbs. Kathy didn't try to match its speed. Instead, she read its patterns, waited for the opening, and when the alien overextended on a high strike, she stepped inside its guard and executed a perfect Osotogari, a major outer reap that sent the Vrexian tumbling out of the circle before it could recover. 2 down. By the 4th match, the crowd's mood had shifted from outrage to curiosity. The Thorian Crusher, bear-like creature with crystalline growths along its spine, approached the circle warily. It had watched the previous matches. It knew the human was dangerous. "They're calling you the Deathworld Warrior on the feeds," Isaac informed her. "Also the Terran Terror and Kathy the Unbreakable. That last one's kind of growing on me." Kathy allowed herself a small smile. The Thorian charged, attempting to use its superior mass, but mass didn't matter as much as leverage, and Kathy had leverage in spades. She sidestepped, grabbed the Thorian's extended arm, and used its own momentum to send it rolling out of the circle like a furry boulder. The final match was against a Sith, a species known for their tactical brilliance and adaptive combat styles. The Sith had studied all of Kathy's previous fights. It didn't rush in. It circled, probed, tested her reactions. "This one's smart," Isaac warned. "Its combat computer is running predictive algorithms on your movements." "Good," Kathy said. "Let it predict." Sith attacked with precision, striking at angles designed to exploit human anatomy. But it had made one critical error. It had assumed human limitations based on galactic norms. It didn't account for the fact that Kathy's bone density was nearly twice that of most spacefaring species. It didn't account for muscle tissue that had evolved to fight constant gravitational pull. It didn't account for a nervous system honed by millions of years of being both predator and prey. When the Sith grabbed her from behind, attempting a neural disruption hold that would have incapacitated any other species, Kathy did what came naturally. She bent forward, lifted the surprised alien over her shoulder, and threw it clear out of the circle with enough force to dent the arena's force barrier. The silence that followed was deafening. Then the arena exploded with roars, clicks, and whistles from 1,000 different species. The Quarrel Arena Master floated down, its bell-shaped body pulsing with what might have been respect. The human female, Kathy of Earth, is declared Grand Champion of the Viktha Trials. This is ... unprecedented. Kathy removed her earpiece and walked to the edge of the circle where Isaac was racing down to meet her, his face split by an enormous grin. Around them, alien spectators were frantically updating their databases on human capabilities. You know what this means, Isaac said, reaching her. Humanity just earned a seat on the Galactic Security Council. We're not the new kids anymore, Kath, we're players. Kathy looked up at the thousands of alien faces staring down at her, some in shock, some in fear, many in newfound respect. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not with advanced technology or ancient wisdom, but with something simpler and far more fundamental, the unbreakable will of a species forged in Earth's unforgiving crucible. Yes, she said, finally allowing exhaustion to touch her voice. But first, I need a shower, and maybe a week of sleep. Isaac laughed. Sorry, champ, you've got 17 interview requests from galactic media outlets, for dinner invitations from planetary governments, and the Coalition wants to discuss your new role as humanity's official first contact combat instructor. Kathy groaned, but she was smiling. Humanity had grabbed the galaxy's attention by showing them what a death world could produce. What came next would be up to all of them, but for now, in this moment, standing in the arena of Viktha with purple dust on her boots and the cheers of 1,000 species ringing in her ears, Kathy allowed herself to simply be proud. Proud to be human. Proud to be from Earth. Proud to show the galaxy that sometimes the smallest package carried the biggest punch.